Hello and welcome to this video. Well, I want to talk to you about what is Warhammer 40k. I'll go over the basics of what you need to know. We've heard of it from a friend or from a famous person. So, let's get into it. To talk about what Warhammer is, we need to take a little dive into the past. In 1975, the company Games Workshop was founded. They would import popular role-playing games and board games until 1977, when they released White Dwarf, a magazine for tabletop game enthusiasts. But then, in 1978, they opened their first shop. Just 1 year later, they made their first model. But this was not a Warhammer model. It was to be used in role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons. Then, 1983 hit, and the first edition of Warhammer Fantasy was released, making their own gaming system for their models. But this isn't the version we're talking about. The version we're talking about was released in 1987 as Warhammer Rogue Trader, a satire based in the year 40,000 where there is only war. And now that we've the timeline, what actually is the setting about? There are many ways you can engage with the world of Warhammer 40k. Let's start with the large number of books based on the setting by the publisher Black Library, such as the very well-liked Infinite and Divine. And among their catalogue of properties, there are also video games based on the setting, most well-known being Space Marine and Dawn of War. But like the original Warhammer Fantasy in 1983, there are also models you can build, paint and play a tabletop game with. If you're interested in seeing how that's played, I have a tutorial on my channel to help you. But none of this is answering what actually is the setting of Warhammer about. In the Warhammer 40k universe, humanity lives in the Imperium, with God Emperor of mankind sitting upon his golden throne. But within the Imperium, there is a dark side where you have to pray and worship towards the God Emperor, otherwise you can be arrested or even worse. Humanity has an array of factions, consisting of Space Marines, enhanced soldiers made for war, the Adeptus Sororitas, also known as the Sisters of Battle. These are women who have been raised to only believe in the Emperor rather than their own lives, devoting their lives to worship of the Emperor and to fight in his wars. Custodians, enhanced soldiers that work for the Emperor himself, the Adeptus Mechanicus, people that make the machinery and weaponry, considering their worship, but aren't allowed to innovate or invent after the dark age of technology. Finally, the Astra Militarium, normal soldiers taken from planets to fight for the Imperium, and mainly used because of the massive soldiers they can make up. But now I'd like to talk to you about Chaos, a faction filled with demons and traitors of the Imperium, with the four Chaos gods: Khorne, the god of blood; Nurgle, the god of plague; Tzeentch, the god of change; and Slaanesh, the god of pleasure. Chaos opposes order and wants to see the Imperium crumble. Lastly are Xenos, who have barely any affiliation with each other, starting off with Eldari, an ancient race who have to carefully regulate their emotions and live on craft worlds after their civilization collapsed. The Drukhari, related to the Eldari, but get power from pain and torture rather than controlling their emotions. The Tyranid, an alien race from another world who eats worlds and kills anyone who stands in their way. Gene Stealer cults, who are people that get infected and infiltrate the Imperium for the Tyranids. The Voltan, who are abhumans left behind by the Imperium, work with robots from the dark age of humanity. Necrons, an ancient race turned into robots and now want to take back their ancient land. Orcs, who are built for fighting and winning, who want the most crazy battles they can. And lastly, the Tau Empire, a new race with very strict social standards. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you do, send it to any friends, or just like and subscribe. If you have any questions, write it down in the comments and I should be able to answer. So please, like and subscribe.